will make sure that we can start the class right in the start time, of course, at 12:30. However, I'm going to give you guys an extra 5 minutes. Usually it's a 10-minute block, so that if you have any questions, any concerns, anything, you are more than welcome to ask me. And I will be more than happy to answer you. It's a win-win. Some more fan mail coming from, I'm still looking for where is communication, LOL. What is LOL? Laugh out loud? Well, laughing out loud might be where the communication is, especially it's on a bar on top. I'll just quickly show you it, if I may, Thingbin. If you look up here, okay, communications, this is where it is. Communications, content, grades, assessments. You go down to communications, you click Zoom, and this is the website that it's going to give you. You click start, and you're golden. However, if you would like, you go back to our class, and all the Zoom class information is right down here, and the password. So I'm assuming you did that, okay? But nonetheless, it is available. Hello, hi, Prof, and hi, classmate. Hello, back to you, Grace. Thank you for joining us, and we shall start our class in 3 minutes. 3 more minutes, guys, and we will start. More fan mail. Let's see who's coming in. Where is that page? I just showed you. It's on our class. You have classes that were set to you, Fangben, and those classes, they are one of our class. And just click on it. You go to content. You can get all the information from day to day, the announcements, everything. It is available on the website. If you cannot see it and it's becoming a problem, please don't hesitate to get in contact with the IT service or IT systems. They help students. And I know this is the first semester that you're in. You had orientation, I believe, but if not, you can get more information from them. Okay, so they're there to help you. If that helps, Fangman, okay? But nonetheless, it's on your website, okay? So if you go to eCentennial, you'll see the information. All right, guys, 1 more minute and we will start. 1 more minute and our class will be starting. Be here and be square. 26 of you guys are. Okay. We got here. All right, perfect. One of my buttons. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a leeway, especially with the class and so forth. Like I mentioned last week, just so don't you forget, we have a small little assignment that will go into your activities. So please kindly, with the kindest of kinds, please complete it. It's not that long, but it will give you a good overview of the fundamentals of business. So I just want to mention it to you, and I'll mention it again. Okay, I'm kind of like doubling it for you guys. First and foremost, if you click, of course, into our class, and you click the content. Last week, I gave you guys, and we'll go back to week number one. I gave you guys, all the information. So the week one assignment is going to be due, if I'm not mistaken, January the 18th, which falls in 2 more days. Okay. Do I have anything completed yet? Yeah, some did complete it. I'm very impressed. So activity number one is very simple. When you click on it, activity number one, you will get this particular item right here, which I need to show you right here. And I'll show you how it looks like. Let me just stop this again and show you the document when it opens. Sharing is closed. Let's try it again. Here we go. So it talks primarily on unit number one, and unit number one talked a little bit about what is leadership and understanding the traits of leadership. So we talked about an individual named George. George is a director of operations for an international company based in Toronto. He's a quiet individual, 20 years experience in management and working in big departments. George has really had hands-on with a project, and he's new to the project world. So rather, he usually oversees teams of leaders and has done assistance with that and the progress of teams. George has been assigned to a five-team member for a project, and it's within the company to complete a project. So to complete the project, they have to work on the tight schedules. All five team members need to work collaboratively. So the team members include Jose from finance on site, Mohammed from marketing, satellite, and office, Sarah from IT on site, Mark from design, satellite office, and Eli from legal. Because the team members are all in different cities and different departments, they never work together as one team. So they're basically in a matrix. You talk about what types of teams you would like. Well, this team is remote. This team is in a matrix, okay? And it's complicated. And what happened here is that on top of the fact that they never work together, um, some interacted with each other on smaller projects. Some have never met each other in real life. Okay. So it becomes a huge issue. Okay. And what occurs here is that when you are having an issue, the project must be delivered in the fourth quarter. And a lot of times, you're giving teams only 12 weeks to complete it. George has been hearing rumors about Jose and Mohammed being frustrated with being put on a team and say that they're too busy to help out. However, the project requires input from all departments, so they are both needed. Okay, so though George has significant management experience, he is unsure how to approach the situation, meaning they have people who do not want to be on your team. All right, so your goal is to answer the following questions. What type of team is George leading? So go back to unit number one. What approach do you think George should take with the new team? Question number two. And what should be a good starting strategy for George? Okay. So clearly you have a problem with a teammate. What approach do you take? How do you lead it? What kind of team do you want? And basically, what I want you guys to do is to formulate some questions and primarily, however you would want, maybe answer it question by question or in free flow. I want you to come up with a conclusion. Okay. So again, guys, this is due on January the 18th, which is 2 days from now, uh, practically on a Thursday when we come back. I believe it's a Thursday. Is it a Thursday? Or before the Thursday? Wednesday. So before we come back, we're going to be doing it. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hopefully making sure that we have some of the information that we need. Okay. So beyond this, what we also need to kind of understand is the primary target on figuring out exactly how to submit it. And of course, week one submission is available. So again, how do you submit? Very simple, guys. Some of you guys already did it, which is fantastic. Hats off to you guys. But what do you do primarily is you go into week number one And under week number 1, you'll see the week 1 assignment. Just click on it. And basically you just submit it, okay? So again, you are going to get graded on it. You're going to submit it. And then I'm going to look over it, mark you, and give you back some response, okay? So please make sure to complete it on time. As I mentioned to you guys, it was open since the 11th, but you have until the 21st with some penalization, fortunately, to submit it. So make sure, and I'll give you some time even today to submit it to me. Hello, Prof. Hello back. So nonetheless, guys, this is going to be something that we will give you guys to do. Okay. Beyond that, we have a conversation, and after a conversation, I'm going to give you guys a heads up on what I'm going to expect from you guys next class that we're together. Okay. I believe we're together on Wednesday. Okay. So on Wednesday, I'm going to give you guys an in-class assignment, some videos in regards to today's conversation, and hopefully a discussion that we're going to have. Does anyone have any questions for me before we start? Me? I submitted my assignment. Okay, very well. So going forward, let's talk about our new conversation for today. Our new topic that we're going to be talking about, and I'm just going to open it up for you guys. Can you guys see my screen? It's about communication of business, and we're going to talk about the foundations of what makes a business happen. Any questions? Grace? Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. I just saw your mic was open.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in our learning objective for today, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to describe the concepts of stakeholders. Who are they? What are they? How do we know them? And talk about what stakeholders are, not just a steak of meat, but identify stakeholders and groups that are relevant to an organization. Anybody can be a stakeholder, and it's an interesting part. Anybody could be a stakeholder, and it can be the community you're in. So for example, take Centennial College. I'm a stakeholder because I'm an employee of Centennial. You guys are stakeholders because you guys are students slash customers slash users of the service of Centennial and the people around us. Okay, so the community. So for example, you know, I've been in other schools. If there's drag race, if there's a lot of music, the organization has to take responsibility. Okay. So if you have students who, for example, are, throwing trash in the public area and it's going into businesses, stakeholders are part of it, even though they do not buy from us or they have anything to do with us, okay? But they're part of our community. They're stakeholders. And a lot of times you have to identify who the stakeholders are. So we're going to discuss and hopefully be able to apply the bigger idea, the macro business environment. Macro, we have big, micro, we have small. Macro business environment model to industries or emerging technologies to understand a little bit more about what this model is all about. And hopefully we'll finish up our conversation by trying to explain to you guys other key terms related, especially to the foundation of business, on how we understand what is an entrepreneur, how do we understand profit, revenues, and anything all together. So let's talk about foundation of business with a company you probably are familiar with. Let's talk about Apple. Okay. When we analyze Apple's success, okay, somehow Apple, irregardless of how you view it, for the good or for the bad, Apple, with the help of their two founders, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, they succeeded while so many companies failed. And in reality, when you start a company, there's a good chance it will fail, inevitably. Okay. Um, we have what we call serial entrepreneurs, and serial entrepreneurs will fail again and again and again. And they are interested in what we call the eureka moment. Okay. Eureka. All right. Finally, I got something going. And this is a reality for many organizations. Okay. Many organizations, what they have seen is that they want to be in many different parts. They want to find the best product. Okay. And in reality, when you look at a company such as, Apple, Apple was a game on its own for a long time. Okay. And Apple was sort of if you like computers and technology, they were a separate operating system. Myself, I like PC. I'm a Microsoft man. Um, Using Apple Macintosh products is a difficult part in my life, and I have to use it. I have a smartwatch, maybe I have a iPhone. I used to have iPods back in the day. Uh, those things are by its own, okay? But the reason why I bring Apple to the conversation is that Apple had a niche market for a long time. They were always kind of the first. They were always innovative. They were always on their own, and they did really well. But there came a time where Steve Jobs, who basically was the owner, the founder, the CEO, the president of Apple, he was managed by the board of directors. And we talked about the board of directors as this rainbow on top of the owner, because the owner can do whatever they want. For example, look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk just bought Twitter for the good or for the bad, letting, really kind of controversial people who shouldn't be on Twitter, from Trump that got banned to Kanye West, to all these, socialites like Andrew Tate. He brought them back, and he brought them back because he has a theory of, free speech. Do you believe in it? Do you not? It's your call. But you know, he has a board of directors, and the board of directors can easily take him off his position. It will cost him a lot of money. It might not be popular, but they can do that. Okay. And in the case of Steve Jobs, that's what happened. Um, we call this the dark ages of Apple. Apple had a situation a long, long time ago where they did not do really well. So what occurred here was they were slumping in the markets. Nobody was buying their products. Microsoft was taking a boom, and it was the late 90s. And they just brought in Steve Jobs one day, and they told him, listen, you're not doing good. You're not doing what's needed. We want you to resign. The guy made, 20 years before, or something like 20 years before, he made the company. So they booted him off. And that was a really dark day for him. Okay. They booted him off, brought somebody in, and the goal was, we have to reconstruct Apple. Did they? Not really. Apple was still Apple, but they were a sluggish company. They let a lot of people go. People lost their jobs. And Apple, even though it was now successful, it looked like it was heading towards failure. Okay. And as they were failing, they said to themselves, listen, we need to bring back Steve. Steve was innovative. He wasn't a smart leader, but he was a very innovative leader. And what they did was they brought him back. So the question is, how did a company emerge really good, fail, come back, and now you see the company, it's $1 trillion value company. And Steve, of course, unfortunately, cannot see it because he passed away. But what made a company like Apple succeed? Was it their superior products? Okay. One of the first things that Steve came up with was he wanted to take advantage of something that normally Apple was never into. And what they were not into, of course, was, you know, non-computer items. For example, like the Apple iPod. Okay. The Apple iPod, I had a chance to see it years ago as the first generation. A friend of mine is a big fan of Macintosh, been a fan of Macintosh for years. He had an Apple iPod, and I was blown away by it. Okay, I wasn't blown away by the fact that it was innovative because there was companies who did it before. So basically, what Apple did, or Steve Jobs did, he looked at the market and he realized that there are products out there that are really interesting, and he wanted to take advantage of it. So basically, it was the late 90s, and companies were looking to digitize music. How do we get music? Well, if you're an old, crumpy guy like me, you have CDs. CDs where you buy them from stores like HMB, Sunrise, Sam's Music Club. Okay, you would buy CDs and you would play them. The only problem for me is that I'm not a big fan of a genre of some sort. So I would buy a CD and then I just listen to the two songs from it, which is kind of weird. Or I make a mix and make the best of my music. But what he did was he wanted to make a system where you have music in the palm of your hands. So this idea was nothing new, but they took advantage of it. Okay. And then the next phase, what they did was he wanted to go into phones. Okay. So you went to phones, and what happened here was with the phone market, the same kind of problem. In fact, myself, one of my papers I really wrote really well back in the day, when I did my thesis, was I actually wrote that the iPhone was going to be a failure. Okay, I wrote as a student that iPhone, from a technological standpoint, was going to be a colossal failure. Why? Well, number one, I was knowledgeable at that point on the iPod. I knew that companies like RIM, BlackBerry, and now early on Samsung were taking the market to one direction. I also knew that technology of telecommunication is hard to get, and semiconductors are very expensive. When you combine that into a salad, unfortunately, I believe that iPhone was going to be a failure. Well, I did not realize that iPhone was going to be similar to what they just released as an iTouch. They just included, some phone on it, and they released it. Okay, so what occurred here was they were creating superior products, and a lot of people were getting on the market. Even though I really got a good mark in my assignment, my paper that I wrote that iPhone was going to be a failure, I realized that unfortunately I did not understand what apps were, and I did not understand the fact that for a good long time, the money making was through the iStore, okay, the Apple iStore, iTunes, where you can download apps, you can download music, and even though you have the system, the machine, that's where you make all the money. Okay, so he started to create superior products. He started to create better computers, faster computers, the first two in the market, and they were very innovative. And now the question is, in the next 2 3 years, where is are they going? Okay, are they going to make a new smartwatch? Are they going to make smart eyeballs? Are they going to make something that will help us? Okay, and how did they do that? Well, of course, Apple had dedicated employees. It wasn't just Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is one brain, but Steve Jobs needed multiple support. And to get that multiple support, they needed employees. Even though at the worst part, they were losing money, people were getting laid off. Um, they needed people to get the support that's hopefully assessed, and those individuals help the company go up in the chain. Also, management was engaged. Management had to kind of support them, tell them that you're in teams, you're in groups, you're here for the bigger idea. Okay, suffer now, reward later, we call it. Okay, so a lot of people, that's what their mentality is as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. You suffer for many years. You do not make you do not make a profit. You try to sell your product, people close the door on you, they refuse to talk to you, they have nothing to do with you, and then all of a sudden you hit the well, oil goes spurting up, and there is where your success is. Okay. And the problem with a lot of companies is that if management loses focus and starts blaming people, blaming employees, never rewarding them, recognizing them, you would not have a successful company. And possibly, Apple, they had really good management to push the employees, the engineers, the research and development into a sphere that they're going to succeed, and they believed in them. Okay. But also it could be luck. Okay. Right place at the right time. As I told you, the MP3 was not made by Apple. Same thing with the phone. Okay. Um, Back 20 years ago, you were not buying Apple. You were buying maybe RIM if you're lucky. You were buying Nokia. I had Nokia for a long time. Motorola, okay, Siemens. These companies, you probably never think about buying a cell phone, but that's the reality. Okay, for the young ones here, ask your parents. They had Motorola, Nokia phones, being used. Okay, and our phones are very durable. Screens don't really crack unless you throw them in somebody's head, but nonetheless, they were in a luck because there was a change in the market and they saw it. So the question is, do we wait or do we go ahead? And this is a really interesting part because a lot of companies, they have really good products, but the problem is that they're not ready for the market. Okay. So all of a sudden, people buy new products, people are going to enjoy the products, but the whole market, they're like, what is this? Okay. I'll give you a good example of it. If you guys remember DVDs, DVDs were a success story because DVDs were compact. Okay. Does anyone know what came before DVDs? If you guys like history, now it's a history because it's over 30 years ago. Anyone know what came before? What's the name? Here we go. Some fan mail. Two fan mails. What could it be? And it's floppy disks. Baha. I'm not sure what that is. Yes. No, it's not floppy disk. It's not Baha. I'm not sure what that is. Any other guessers? Vinilo VHS. Close between VHS and DVD. Diskette. Close. You're getting there. It's something to do. Egbert was kind of on it. VCD. No, that's kind of after. It's small niche. It's a disc and it's laser. I basically gave it out to you guys. Cassette towels, no. It was laser discs. Okay. So before we had DVDs, we had laser discs, and laser discs were a good example of a product that is new to the market, has potential. The price, the niche is very, very specific. Okay. So laser discs, yeah, LDs. Thank you, Arjun. Laser disc, what they were was a oversized vinyl, and I think I have a vinyl. I don't want to share this vinyl. This is a vinyl, guys. I just want to show you my vinyl. So in my hand, this is a vinyl. Okay, so the size of this vinyl, this is a musical vinyl. The size of this vinyl, um, basically it's a disc that will have a video. Okay, so the reason why people were interested in laserdisc was the fact that laserdisc were playing digital movies. But the problem with that, unfortunately, guys, is that laserdiscs, one of the biggest problems were the price. Okay, most movies cost in a range of $75 to over $200. The machine will cost you $3,000 and you need parts with it. So basically, to have laser discs, you need $3,000. And if you're going to have like 10 movies, another $3,000. Sorry, yeah, uh, 10 move, yeah, whatever it is. You need quite a lot of money to have the discs. Okay, so there was no rental there. There was no nothing. It was the right product, but at the wrong time. And then what they did, they waited. They compacted the DVD as we know it, put more data on it, and then in the late 90s, we had DVDs, and DVDs started to become a boom for 10 good years between 1999-ish and 2009. And again, who took DVDs off the market? Anyone want to take a guess? Who made DVDs obsolete? Any guessers? Something you probably use? Pen drives. No, not really. Looking for something that's now. James, but you're close. I like that. Pen drives, USBs, not a problem. But something that's now. In the now. We're talking about 2020s. What do we use for movies? Streaming. Any streaming device, any streaming subscription you would use? Yes. Hello, you're correct. Netflix. Netflix made DVDs obsolete. Okay. So basically, again, DVDs, Netflix came out of DVDs. When the first Netflix subscription happened, you would basically get DVDs sent to you. But the idea, the right place at the right time was that technology, like the way we use it, streaming, high-speed internet, getting, live classes like we're having today right now, that was not possible in 2004 or 2005. The people who made Netflix, they knew that the future, this is how it's going to look like. Having Skype and Zoom, having, 30 students in my class live listening to me, that was the future. And they knew about it, but they did not use it and they waited for it. So they knew that, DVDs in the future will be obsolete. And as a result, we had Netflix. So this game was the right time, the right place at the right time. So nonetheless, of course, projector, even better. Nonetheless, of course, this is all about coincidence. But at the end of the day, it's strategy. Steve Jobs, he did a lot of things. He created Apple. He made Apple work. He made Apple fail. He brought back Apple, and now Apple is a $1 trillion company. Same thing with the founders of Netflix. The founders of Netflix, their idea was simple. Okay. We're going to have a service where we're going to align DVDs. We're going to send you DVDs. And then in the future, you can watch them whenever you want. And today, we literally have a smartphone, a smart TV, smart something that we click on, a smart computer that we click on. We watch movies and literally, instead of having, 5 laser discs or 200 DVDs like I did, I have a library that gives me algorithms to tell me what I want to watch. Okay. So somehow my whole algorithm is all about, romantic movies, but that's what my genre is, maybe. Okay. So definitely this is the future. And the question now is, where is the future headed? Okay. So a lot of times when we look at foundations of a company, we want to make sure we have the right ingredients for the company itself. And a lot of times to see if a company is successful or not, we look at profits. Okay. Profits, especially who's the recipients of profits. Profits are very, very important here because profits are revenues left over after your bills are being paid. Okay. What are bills? Well, when you look at a company, in order to make money, you have to spend money. Okay. Myself, I am my own business. Okay. I profit when I teach you guys. I profit as my own business, but a lot of times I cannot, start at zero. Okay. I need something. Okay. So I invested in myself. Number one, I invested in my education. I have my master's and I also got my degree in teaching, you guys, and I'm certified to teach colleges. So that was my investment. I was at minus straight out of, school. And of course, I got my position. Okay. I ended up, of course, I needed to get my equipment, my license. Okay. I need to get Zoom license. to start the class. I need to buy a good working computer. I need to do all these things. And then when I made my profit would pay off my debt, and whatever left over will be my profit. Okay. So again, this is what I take home for myself. Okay. So again, when you make a profit in a company, whether it's your own company, whether it's, you and your friends, 10 people, 50 people, 200,000 people, who profits here? A lot of times individuals, okay, individuals will profit because sometimes individuals would have position in the company, a stake, we call it, and they would profit. Some profits are also going to social and educational services, okay, for the greater good of the welfare of our society. So we have companies that we set up where they are governmental. So, for example, if you like to gamble, you like the lottery, the Ontario Lottery Corporation or Ontario Lottery Gaming, OLG, they are an entity of the government. So if you spend $20 and you buy a ticket, let's say the jackpot is $50 million, but for every jackpot, they make 80, 90, $100 million. They will reward the lottery winner 50 million, and then they will pocket 50 million in their own revenue, maximum, let's say. And what happens here is that they would take the money and give it back to society. How? Social welfare, education, roads, public transportation, all the good stuff. Okay. Same thing, of course, with the LCBO. LCBO, what are we known for? Liquor Control Board of Ontario. But their goal is that they make revenue on behalf of the LCBO. They will pay their employees. They'll pay the Smirnoff and Molson money so that they can buy the product. And at the end of the day, what they do is that they will take the remainder of the money, the profits, and then give it back to social welfare. Okay. Why did they do that? Well, of course, alcohol and especially the history of the LCBO is that it was there for government control. Okay. It's not free market because then, of course, people need to pay not to drink, but the social atmosphere of drinking is that, people will get sick. There'll be alcohol dependency. People will get diseases like heart disease, liver disease, kidneys, and so forth, mental health, and so forth. And the money that they profited for, according to them, social drinking, social responsible drinking will go back to good causes so that you guys will have good hospitals, good roads, good education, and beyond. Okay. So there's some fan mail, and that comes from the Gustavo teacher. We can watch the recordings, and if yes, where? No, the recording is basically available, but for most of it, it's live in class. We're synchronous in class. All right, Gustavo. So when we profit, thank you. Whenever we profit for many different reasons, there's two companies that you can make. For example, we can be a for-profit company, a company where all our profit, instead of giving back to society, can be in our hands. Okay. Or we can be a not-for-profit organization and have the same guidance. But non-for-profit a lot of times is kind of known as a company that does charity. So, for example, the LCBO is known as a not-for-profit. Is it a charity? Not exactly, but it's there to give us service, and the service of, controlling the alcohol and making sure that we don't sell it to teenagers and young people who are underage. We want to make sure that we, drink it considerably responsible. We want to make sure that we give the profits to good causes and so forth. But there are companies out there that are for profit. All right. So companies that, make a product like Best Buy, they buy the products and all the revenue will be for their profit. Okay. And who makes the profit? Who, you know, gets the profits for a for profit organization? Well, we call them the stakeholders. And regardless if it's not for profit or for profit, the stakeholders will be the final entity who will be getting some of the profit, for good or for the bad. So, who are stakeholders? Like we mentioned, stakeholders can be just about anybody and everybody. Okay. It could be the public. So, as I mentioned to you, our school, Centennial, is a not for profit organization. We're part of the public college. Our goal is to train, educate the future of Ontario. And what we want to do is we want to offer courses like business administration. Okay. We have a tuition. The tuition usually is based on policies by the government. Students like you guys will come in, and we will have you guys as students slash I would call you customers. Okay. And again, we have policies. So who tells us, how to run BUSI 119? We have policymakers both in the head office of the colleges of Ontario. We have, of course, policymakers making sure that students are going to school. And of course, they tell us exactly how to run the school itself, even though we can manage it in our own sphere. Then, of course, we have the governments. Okay. The governments want to make sure that the standards are up to date. Okay. If the quality of the class is going down, that can be a problem. Okay. And we want to make sure that it is in high standards. Another thing, we have shareholders in some profitable companies. Again, Centennial is not a profitable company, but if you are, for example, investing in Apple, IBM, Microsoft, they are profitable and they are willing to share a piece of their profit, and we call them shareholders. Okay, myself, I'm a shareholder. Okay, I own stocks in numerous companies, from RBC to Scotiabank, from Tesla to Apple, from Apple to Google. I have stocks. Okay. That means I have a small little share of profit, and I, in some cases, can be a minority stakeholder or a majority shareholder. Okay. But nonetheless, I cannot dictate what the company does. Okay. What they'll do is they will accept my money, they will convert it into a share. And let's say I own 2,000 shares in RBC, and I cannot tell RBC, expand into Indonesia, because I have friends in Indonesia that need your banking. But what they'll do is they'll give me yearly, quarterly reports and tell me how well they're doing, and give me option. If I like them, I'll keep the money. And if I am a good shareholder, they will give me dividends, meaning they'll give me small little amounts back. But also, they can also, if I have a choice, I can take my money away. All right. And I can play the stock market. Okay. It's my choice. And shareholders, of course, are investors. Okay. If they have majority stakeholders, they may have some say, but nonetheless, shareholders only invest and can invest in a company, or can take their money and go somewhere else. Okay. Other shareholders that we deal with are users of the product, managers, funders, the employees. They can be a shareholder, even though they don't own the company. They have a share in the stocks. Okay. We also have suppliers and vendors. Okay. People who are part of the company, they have a huge say here. Okay. For example, of course, if you are a supplier of a big company, like let's say Canadian Tire, and Canadian Tire was to go out of business, you are affected. Okay. So your success and failure has a lot to do with the success of Canadian Tire. Okay. So we had a company called Zellers, which again is for profit, and there's a good chance that they were in the market, they were okay. Then they sold to Target, then Target failed, and now they're bringing back Zellers. But a lot of people were suppliers of Zellers. They sold them, kids' toys. They sold them chips. They sold them everything. And what occurred right now is that when they went out of the market, so did the business. Okay, so you can actually see that shareholders can be right about anybody. Okay, we call them bubbles. They don't really have something to talk to. I mean, a lot of times students do not talk to the government, and the funders and the shareholders do not talk to the employees, and the environment is part of it because again, if you have a company working in a small town and they go out of business, it will affect the environment. Okay, so a lot of times there's many different cities, even in Ontario, where you have a small town and you have one big corporation there. And that corporation was to go out of business, like a mine, a factory, or whatever it is, it can affect other things. Okay, it can affect, for example, all of a sudden, restaurants they lose business. The main street where, every Saturday night, Friday night, workers from the factory would go and be a part of the live events there. No more. Okay. And of course, the reason is, of course, there's no money in the city. What increases, of course, is the environment is maybe unsafe. Social workers will help, families in distress. Police will come in. And of course, we would have other people who would be affected. So when we look at shareholders, stakeholders, sorry guys, stakeholders, a business can be any stakeholder, which includes customers, vendors, employees, the landlords, the leasers, and the banks. And then the others who are part of the stakeholders can be, of course, the general public, the environment that we're in, maybe we pollute the environment and so forth, various government organizations, departments, and beyond. So when you look at a generic company, any company out there, most of the time a company is made up within these bubbles, but inside their own company, they're made up of a departments that deal directly with, of course, what their function would be and what they sell. Irregardless, generically, six major departments are available in most companies. And the way that I kind of write down the six major elements are as follows. Normally, you have human resources. Okay, human resources, if you guys are familiar with it, and if you guys are pursuing a diploma in human resource, they are controlling the resource of our people. Okay. Not every company needs human resources. If you're a small company of, let's say, under 50, having a human resource individual might not be the best. But if you have 100, 200, 300 people, human resources can control, of course, payroll, can work with accounts, can work with rights and privileges that you have, can work a lot with understanding people's duties, titles, can hire people, can fire them, let them go. They can also be able to help you if you need time off for whatever reason. So if you're having a baby, if you are having, a crisis in the family, they will support you. Okay. They also help you for your retirement. So a lot of times they will control your Canadian pension plan, CPP, and your employment insurance. So again, if you are to be let go by chance, by being fired or because there's a slowdown, they will do the paperwork and it's their necessary requirement to do it so that you can get paperwork and be able to help supply yourself in the future. Beyond human resources, we have operations. Operations, of course, are the day-to-day operations. They are basically the heart of the organization. The idea for operations, of course, is that they want to make sure that we are running smoothly. We have no problems going on. Things are coming in, things are coming out, and we're doing what's needed based on our industry, based on our company, based on our success story, perfectly. Okay. They're basically controlling and monitoring the success of the organization. Then, of course, you have marketing. Marketing, of course, we don't know what the company is. We have to get advertising. We have to get, pamphlets and information, and marketing will sell us the product, will advertise, will get directly with the customers and hopefully make some sales. And of course, we do make sales, we make money. All right, money, 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 money. We make money, of course. And what do we do with the money? Well, we have to have somebody that will control our money. So, of course, we have accounting, and accounting will, of course, balance our spreadsheets, make sure that we're breaking even, we're paying people money, but also making sure that people are paying us money so that we can stay afloat. And of course, telling us how profitable we are. But as I mentioned to you, there are companies that are for profit, and even not for profit companies get money. So a lot of times we need another department that's very similar to accounting, finance. We're having a finance company where we give options for investment. We give options to take the money that we made and even make it bigger. Okay. So a lot of times the finance department will be able to control the flow of the money and make sure that the money will be available for us. And last but not least, since I would say the year 1980, information is very important, and we use a lot of technology. So we have IT, or better yet known as information technology. And that company connects us, make sure that we have good computers, make sure we have websites, we have support, and all the necessary gadgets so that we are able to run a good, healthy company. And of course, with IT, thanks to IT, of course, we are able to do things all that's needed together. Okay. So let's look at all these six departments one by one. When we look at human resources, there is a function that's needed to be done. Okay. If you are going to be working in the department in human resource management, you will need to know a lot more about skills and capabilities of your company and your workers. What can they do? What do they need? And where are they right now? Okay. You have to know exactly the fact that people have experiences, they have leadership skills, you want to recognize it, and you want to make sure that they are up to par. If they're not, number one, you have to hire the right people. And if you do hire the right people, but they need more experience, you may train them. And that's what human resource are there for. Your goal is to also staff and plan everything all together. Make sure that we have the right information, the right people, make sure that we have performance measurement, okay? So that every so often, maybe every 6 months, first when we started, maybe we'll be on a 3-month probation to see if you're good and if we want to hire you for full time. And then right after, in the 6th month, which is technically the 9th month that you're working in that company, you are going to sit down with somebody in HR and they will talk to you about your performance. And if you do above and beyond, there's a good chance, number one, you might be promoted. You might get a pay increase, maybe, 75 cents, $1.20, $1.50, whatever it is. They will give you that, seeing that we can reward you, and a good chance that they will keep you for a little longer. Okay. However, performance is good. Performance might be bad. And in some cases, performance means that there's a need to improve, a need to do better. And of course, if you are struggling in the 6th or 9th month of working in that company, what they're going to be doing here is that they will ask you that we need a strategy to help you improve. However, if in 6 months after your performance review, you still have problems, you might be asked to either resign or we need to do more to help you. Okay. So the goal of performance measurement is there to see how well you're doing, but to make sure that you are doing it correctly for good or for the bad, and hopefully to make sure that you can run what you're doing as need be. Okay. Another thing, of course, is succession plans. People come and people go in a company. Okay. You're not binded to a company. Okay. You can leave a company anytime to pursue a better career. The only thing they ask for is a 2-week notice. Okay. So in this case, what's going to happen is that in the succession plans, people retire. And especially today, you have different generations in work. You have, let's say, a 65-year-old individual. If somebody is 65 years old today, when do you think they were born? Anyone want to take a guess? 65 minus 2023. How old will you be? Or how old were you born? What year? Any guessers? Nope. It will be 1958. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. 1958. And the reason why 1958 is important here because 1958 puts that person who's retiring right now in a category called the baby boomer. Okay. And the baby boomer is about to retire, and they're one of the biggest uh, generations in our society. So there's many companies who will need succession plans. People are retiring. We need to hire new people. Okay. So a manager is retiring. Who can fill the spot? Number one, can somebody in our company do it? And if not, can we hire somebody from outside? Okay. So we need to make sure we have a succession plan. So if you are born between 1945 till 1962, you are considered a baby boomer. Okay. Assuming most of my students are born in the 2000s, depends on when you are born, of course, you are part of a generation. After, of course, generation baby boomers, we had the generation X, 1962 till 1979, 1980 till 1995 are the millennials. Okay, some of you guys might be millennials, and the other generation, of course, is the generation of Gen Z. So anybody born between 1996 and 2009 are considered Gen Z. Okay. So beyond, of course, succession plans and to move, of course, Generation X to management, to move senior managers of Generation so-and-so to other positions, succession plans should be made by HR. Then, of course, you get compensation. How much are you going to make per year? How much are you going to make per hour? HR will dictate that. Okay. And beyond that, you work and work and work, and you, as a full-time employee, should demand benefits. Benefits like employment insurance, CPP, retirement, and beyond that, they give you extra benefits like RRSP, retirement registered retirement saving plan. They can also give you stock in the company, so they'll give you stock options. But most importantly, you might ask for health plan, so medicine, dental care, eye care, years, your family. Okay, you can ask for benefits, and the company will, after a certain point, through HR, give you that information altogether. Before we go on break, I just want to introduce you guys, of course, to operations. Okay. Operations and management of operations, or operation management, is that you have an individual called an operation manager, and operation manager will take the resources like our products, our place, our people, and convert them into goods and services. So the idea is we want to run a day-to-day operation smoothly. We want to turn our service, our people, into the deliverables and then the output. And we have an operation manager to do so. Okay. Many companies can be tangible companies and have tangible products like Apple. Apple has laptops, smartphones, smartwatches, and beyond. But then there's also intangible products. For example, when you go to a hospital, when you attend Centennial College, I give you an intangible product. Okay. I do not package this education for you guys. Okay. There is proof here because you and I are together, but our class is from 12:30 to 3:30 to 2:30, and we are a service. Okay. Same thing with hospitals and healthcare. They do not give you a product that you can touch, smell, and feel. They give you a service. Okay. And irregardless if you're selling a tangible or an intangible product, you have to have some quality maintenance on it. Okay. To make sure that the first customer is happy, as well as the 1000th customer is happy and beyond. You want to control it. And then when you go into branches, you want to make sure that every branch is good. And then when you go international, an operation manager controls it as is. Okay. So a lot of times operation management goes into supply chain, making sure that from our suppliers, we can manufacture a product. From manufacturing, we can transport it to distribution, warehousing, then give it to our retailers and make sure that it's going smoothly. We have no defects. Customers are not getting injured. Products are being sent on time, and to make sure that the health of the company is there. Okay. So when you think about an operation manager, think about a doctor. Why a doctor? Well, the reason why I'm picking a doctor is that a doctor wants to make sure that you're healthy. A doctor wants to make sure that everything is going well. They have a dashboard. Like in a car, you have a dashboard, and they want to make sure that there's no lights being blinking. You're not out of gas. You don't have engine problems. There's no need for service. You don't have red lights going on. Okay. They want to make sure that every single day things are going well. If something's not going well, they want to fix it. Okay. So think about the product. They want to get the product to the customer and make sure that the perfect product will be sold every single time. Okay, guys? All right. Does anyone have any further questions for me? Any fan mail? Any questions? Any microphone questions? Fan mail coming from Shaw. No, Ume, Prof. Yes. Any questions? Base clear? And here? It's good? Yeah, go ahead, Margie.
Yeah, everything is good. Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. So what I'll do right now, guys, if you need me, I'll stick around. But if not, let's take a 10. Okay. The timer now is 1:35. Let's take a break till 1:45. When we're back, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a finale of these departments. And then right after, I'm going to give you hopefully some time to work on your next procedure. But if not, guys, you can wait, of course, till Wednesday, and I'll give you some time as well. Okay. So guys, take a break. Okay. The time right now, of course, is 1:35. Take a break till, of course, 1:45, and we shall be back at that time. Okay. So take a break, enjoy, and let me just see how I can look at marketing. Marketing gives you benefits of what the product is and why we need to buy it. Okay. So the first thing they do in one of the different departments is that they do pricing. Okay. You sell a product, how much is it going to cost? Okay. So take a company that does service. Okay. Centennial, they hired me as a instructor. That's HR. Operations wants to make sure that I'm doing it correctly, that the input and output is there. They track what I do. They make sure that everything's correct. And then the marketing side wants to make sure that we can charge students a tuition. Okay. So again, they price it based upon the demand, I guess, and also they price it on the levels that the government requires. Okay. But for any other item, they can price it in different ways because, especially when you buy a product where you're going to buy, say, a refrigerator, a TV, beverages, and so forth, price is very, very sensitive. Price is elasticity. That's economics. I don't deal with that. That's another class for you guys. But when you look at pricing, I'll have a very honest answer to ask you guys. A very honest answer. And I need an honest opinion here. How much does it cost for a can of Coke? A can of cola. I'm thirsty. How much is it? I'll pay whatever it is. I'll pay whatever it is. How much do you charge? I have the money. Just tell me what it is. How much is a can of cola? Give me a price. $1 Canadian. Ume says it's $1. Anybody else? 199. Fang Ben wants to make some profit. I like him. Fang Ben, 199. What else? Anybody know how much is a can of cola? $5. Shaw, you're an extortion, but I know where you're coming from. Definitely, if I was to go to a Raptors game, they will sell it to me for $5. Prince says it's 225, and there is another price we forgot about. All right, you didn't tell me that if I was to go to No Frills or Sobeys for $10.99, you will give me a 24 can of Coke for 45 cents. But irregardless, okay, the price of cola is unknown. It can be $5, like Shaw says. It could be $1, like what I just left his name out. Ume said, okay, it could be a different price, and because of marketing, we can promote it. For example, for a store that we want to promote the product, we can sell two cans of Coke for the price of one. So you pay $1.25, but you get two cans of Coke, which technically is around 75 cents each. Not bad, okay? Or sorry, not 75 cents, but it's about kind of rounding to give or take. Well, let's put a $1.50, 75 cents each. So you do get a lot of benefits here, okay? Marketing can also look at quality, not the same quality as operations, but the assumption of how much the customer sees the quality. So for a lot of times, what is the difference between a Kia car and a Mercedes-Benz or Toyota? Well, it's the perception. At the end of the day, they both take you to the same place, and most of the time, they have the same features. Okay, but quality can dictate the value of the car, and all of a sudden, Kia can sell their car at 16,000. Toyota can sell it at 30,000. Meanwhile, Mercedes will sell it the same car that Kia and Toyota are selling for 75,000. But at the end of the day, you take it from your house and you drive it to Centennial and then back. Why do you need a luxury car? All right. And that's the quality perception the marketing can do. Marketing can also do deliveries. Okay. Can make sure that you get the items on time. Again, they work with operations, but the delivery is that they want to make sure that it's the same generic product. They can promote it to you to let you know that it's available. It costs this much, and they want to get the traffic. And most importantly, they can create a public relations between a company and a customer. And in today's day and age, marketing is very important because we have social media. Okay. You guys are part of social media. You follow brands, you follow companies. You can have a one on one conversation with the organization. So that's why a lot of companies, they do like the fact that you have marketing available. Another department that we mentioned is accounting. Now we go into numbers. Accounting is very similar, well, very different, of course, from marketing and operations and HR. Accountants, of course, they're all numbers, figures, statistics, and data. What do accountants do? They measure, okay? They measure, summarize, and communicate financial and managerial info. Their goal is to make sure that the data, to make sure that we're balancing our numbers correctly. We're not at a minus. Okay, so again, it's operations. Our operations are healthy, but we're losing money. That's a problem. You can't, you can't have a good heart and you be athletic and eat junk food or smoke. Okay, you need to have everything in balance, and that's where accounting will help you. Accounting want to make sure how much you're valued the company, and will give you information so that you make another decision. Okay, they can advise on financial matters, but they also are working with finance. So the two areas that accounting deal with is the accounting side of finance. Okay, they know that money comes in the company. You have to pay your overhead, and then whatever profit you have, you give it to finance, and you owe people money. Okay, so if I was to sell this mug, and I'm selling the Ontario mug, water not included, in my store, I need to buy this, which is going to cost me $1.25, but I'm going to sell it in my stores for $10. Okay. So the overhead is that I need warehouse, I need computer, internet, and in the future, I need to hire people. So I need to pay people every week or biweekly. I need to pay my individuals. I need to make sure that I'm running a smooth, healthy organization before I begin anything. And then another field, of course, in accounting is managerial accounting, which they make sure that we can manage our accounting fine. But accounting has a friend, and that friend, of course, is nonetheless finance. In finance, our goal is to plan, obtain, and manage company funds. So finance is a very beautiful thing, but also a very scary thing. Every single minute, stocks and currencies fluctuate. If you were to give me money today, every student right here, I can take the money, put it in my pocket for now, play the stock market, make profit, I hope, within the stock market, make $1,000, okay, per, let's say, day or even per hour, and then give back to you a little bit of your money back. So a lot of times companies will receive money. Let's say every single month we get $100,000, and finance will take some of the money and finance it so that our money can grow. So in some companies, they make $100,000, and finance will help them make an extra $25,000 through different areas of lending people the money, making sure that they look at assets, okay, and look at company funds, and hopefully track, recipients of time, and hopefully invest it to better uses. Okay, so when we decide that our company will expand, finance will help us. Finance will work with the banks. Finance will decide what kind of loan we have, and finance will make sure that we purchase the right items and the right equipment. And of course, last but not least, guys, we also have nonetheless IT, or better yet known as information technology. This is relatively newish, depends on the company, the industry, and how you see it. More and more companies in the year 2000, they decided to go more technologically capable, and they now are using the computer for most of their data and transmission. Okay. So a lot of times when you start a new company, you need IT to build your computer and network infrastructure so that our system can talk to each other. Our system can talk to the printer, can talk to the server, can be able to retrieve data, get data, upload the data, and protect the data. They implement security protocols so that the company does not get hacked, and that we do not have any malware, viruses, or people trying to sabotage our organization, and develop an interface and applications for the customer. So a lot of times they'll build a website. There'll be a way that we can transmit the information, and they'll be able to administer an easy communication between the customer. That is something that they will do with the organization. So when we look at all these four different areas, sorry, I would say not four different areas by chance, but these six different areas in an organization, what we have came to see here is that we have outside forces in business, where we call the macro environmental effect, that will be able to assist us, okay, on making sure that we will be able to be profitable. Okay. So of course we have the manpower. Of course we have the infrastructure, the IT, the satellites, and so forth. We have the environment. We have money coming in from the public. We have the customers. Okay. And then of course you have the government of Canada, who are going to be what we call influences. That the influences will be what the society will dictate for us, and based on our department, they are going to be the organization that will assist us. So when things like income changes happen, so for example, income will grow. That means our company has the potential to grow as well. People's preferences changes. For example, they eat different foods all the time. They change in government requirement, government regulations. Means that we can have easier regulations, harsher regulations, but it all depends on the government itself. So outside forces will dictate to us how successful our company will be. If, for example, as I mentioned to you, our company is, advanced, our company is not making profits, but the product that we're making in the next 5 to 10 years is profitable. This is a micro environmental effect that makes sure that we could be able to be profitable and hopefully position ourselves in a functional business organization to steer in the right direction. Okay. So as we can see here, there's outside forces. Okay. If the outside environment, the public, sees that we're polluting, they might not buy our products. If we're not ethical, they may decide that they're going to go to another department. Okay. They may also decide that possibly there's other competitors who are doing the same product and are doing it even better than us. So that may mean that unfortunately we may lose a customer out here. Okay. So all these major factors are playing itself out. Okay. The way our employees are acting, the way we treat our employees. If we do not pay employees competitive wages, if we were to pay them, let's say $50,000, but to live in Toronto, you would need $70,000. This means that many employees, number one, will not be happy. Number two, they would demand more. And number three, they're going to leave our company. So we're going to lose talent because we're poorly paying our customers, or sorry, our employees. Who do we have to deal with here? HR. We have to work with HR and make sure that HR works with us. Okay. So a couple of takeaways I want you guys to hopefully identify from our lecture is that we talked about the communication of a company. We talked about how companies succeed. And most companies have 6 generic departments. Doesn't mean every company will have it. Some companies are big, some companies are small, but nonetheless, many companies will need these departments to succeed. So this means that if we have poorly paid, low morale employees who a lot of times are leaving the company, this may mean that HR needs to go in. If, for example, customers are not getting the right product, this means operations need to deal with them. Okay. If a vendor is requesting the fact that we're not paying him on time, accounting needs to deal with it. Okay. If we need to take a loan for a new equipment so that we can make more profit, or even better, to create an advertisement on radio, then of course we need finance, but we also need marketing. So they work together. And when you see a real company, they work together. They work inseparable every single day with meetings, organizations, projects, you name it, they work in harmony. Okay. But it all depends on what industry you're in, what company, what they do exactly, and how they do it. Okay. Every company is different. And like I mentioned to you, you may work in a marketing advertising company. Marketing advertising company, most of the time they have operations, but they may not have a strong department for finance or accounting. They focus mostly on marketing. Okay. And some companies may even have more emphasis on, say, engineering or research and development or even chemistry, depending on what they do. Okay. Does anyone have any further questions for me? It's clear. And here? You okay? All right. So before we conclude our conversation, I'm going to give you a head start, guys. I want you guys to look over as much as they're willing to pay. Yeah. I just want to give you a head start, guys, on a project that I have for you guys. So if you guys take a look at this particular item, so I want to show you the last 2 weeks what we did. So if you guys go to our class, and what you'll see here is in our Zoom class, okay, you'll see the entry, and then if you click on content, what you will see here is you're going to see week number 1, everything that I've given you guys. So the ground rules, the class, the PDF. If you want to look at the syllabus, you can do the first, look at the lecture notes. So every single day before we go into our conversation, you can find it online. I gave you the week 1 assignment, and I've given you guys instructions on it. It's due on, of course, January the 18th, but you can still submit it until the 21st. But I recommend you submit it as soon as possible, including working in this class, so that you do not have any marks deducted after January the 18th at 11:01. I've given you also some videos to help you. And of course, in week number 2, I've released to you guys the lecture notes. You can start working on a new project called the Student Scavenger Hunt. Okay. And I've given you the document down below. Okay. So you're ready for it. And if you want to work on it today, it is available, and you can submit it until the 23rd of January. So that means not this week, but next week you can submit it. Okay. And more or less, I'll probably give you until the 25th, seeing that it will be opened and available for you guys. Okay. So again, guys, if you want to start looking at the scavenger hunt, guys, what you would need to do is the following. And let me just open that up for you guys so you would have access to it. So the scavenger hunt, it's about student success, okay? And what you will do is the following, and I'll give you a quick overview of it. Take a look at the Word document that I have for you guys. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. Can I see it? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. All right. So the scavenger hunt is very simple, guys. A scavenger hunt is a fun way to quickly find information on websites to solve a riddle or a puzzle. The goal is to make exploring these websites fun, engaging, and a learning experience. And most importantly, to make sure all the information that we have should be available online, especially for students who are taking a synchronous remote class like we do. You will have access to each of the following websites to complete this scavenger hunt. Fill out this form by clicking twice on the text box and then write down the correct answer. Okay. So the first one is your success, and next week I'm going to give you another one. Okay. But follow up from last week's scavenger hunt. Visit Centennial College. This is a common area that you should be familiar with. Look at the resources. In particular, look at the following pages that are accessible to you. And by clicking the icon associated with the names listed below, fill in the blank and complete the hunt. So the first one I ask you is find me the student services. Scroll to find the rolling chair icon. Click on advising academic service and find your clue by figuring out what the 4 areas to look on advising services, library, learning center, study tips, and what is the missing link on student services. Fill it out and write down here. Okay. Then when you click on peer tutoring, if you need some support, how do you click on booking a tutor? And you need to do it here, and I believe here, to book on something, to book online tutor. Let me know how you find it. And if you're having issues getting ready for an exam, in study tips section, there's academic advising. And where do you find academic advising? You can either write the name or show me the link, name, here, okay? And if you're confused or you have any questions and you do not know where to get it and you want to study on where to get it, where to get the information from, and you are academic advising and you click on advising services, you can either book either a counseling through here and a session on academic advising, okay? And you should also call this department, okay? On making sure you get the advice on where you meet your best needs. And lastly, there should be a specific person or academic advising for the business school. In academic advising, click on advising services and the fact that you're a current student, and find out who your program advisor is. Okay, find your program advisor name. Okay, and then you're done. And when you're done, congratulations, you finished your scavenger hunt. Save it to your profile and then upload it to the content. And again, where you upload it here, you upload it, and I'll show you very, very quickly. You click on week number 2. And in week number 2, Student Success Scavenger Hunt, you click on it, okay? And you will submit it. And that's about it. All right? Any questions? It's a scavenger hunt. It's like finding eggs in Easter. Any questions that you have until this point? Any questions? Going once, twice, 3 times, 3 times the charm. Anyone? Okay. If nobody has any questions, you got 2 things on the go here. And I gave you guys a head start. 1, please complete activity number 1 from last class. 2, please make sure to start your scavenger hunt. Okay? Because next week, I will give you the second part of the scavenger hunt and we will complete it together. All righty, guys? All right. So we are done for today. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you guys here on Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm going to talk more about the scavenger hunt. I'll give you time in class to do it. Should you need any advice from me, any questions, I'll try to help you out. We're on the same boat here for scavenger hunts. So make sure that you complete it. Make sure that you're on top of the game here, and make sure that you will do what's needed. Okay. So a lot of times, thank you. And hopefully around this time, make sure that you can invest 20, 30 minutes of our class to work on your assignment. I thank everybody for joining us. I wish you guys all the best. And make sure to complete the assignment, hand them in, and you are on a roll, okay? Have a good one. Take it easy. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you guys here next week. All right? Bye for now. You too. Have a good one.